make progress, you will go up. But up always implies down. So while you're trying to get better and better and better, that means that when you get to the best,
Check.
I thought it was good.
Oh, I mean, if you think it's good, then it's good.
That's
cool.
Good.
Is the light too bright? Because this is a new direction. We're still in my studio, but we're just sitting on the couch instead of in chairs.
Yeah.
We're couchcasting.
I think we're good though.
Okay, cool. No, this looks good.
Is the light good?
I don't know. I was thinking the light's kind of bright. We can turn that light off and see, because we don't have the backlight this time. So that might be better.
Okay, let's try it. Boom, just like that.
I like it. I think it looks good. Yeah, cool.
All right. And you guys let us know if you like the bright light or like the dim light.
Yeah, they're trying new stuff.
At my house, you have no choice.
It's all natural light. I don't allow any natural light in here. This is a cave. This is a dark, scary cave of madness in my studio. We're still in my studio today. We're just couch casting it today. We're not doing it on the chairs, but we're couch casting. And yeah, it's a comfy setup. It's different. We're still learning. This is episode 4. So yeah, you're coming along the journey with us, and we're figuring things out. And let us know what you think, because
let us know if you like my house better or his studio better. We're not going to listen to you because we're going to tic-tac back and forth anyway and do it. We're going to do one on the roof, one outside of my backyard.
I can't wait for the roof cast. I'm excited about that.
We got it everywhere, dog. Everywhere.
That little field that you showed me by your house that we're eventually one day going to do, that looks crazy.
Woods cast.
That's going to be forest cast?
Forest cast.
Woods forest cast. Roof cast.
And that's what guys like to be our signature thing. We just cast anywhere. We'll do a car cast one day. We'll do a podcast on the way to Dance Festopia.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yep.
Because there's some really nice scenery, like going through Arkansas and parts of Kansas and Missouri and stuff like that. There's some really pretty scenery. That'll be a car cast. Wow.
Like Steve-O's Wild Ride, but while we're driving.
Hell yeah.
And trying to not die.
Hell yeah. I mean, I do a pretty good job of not dying most days, so I think we'll be okay.
When was the last time I died? About 4 weeks ago? About 5 weeks ago?
That makes sense for you, though. Like, I could definitely see that.
Excuse me. Okay, so we're going to get right into it. First off, today I'm super excited to be here. We're working on music a little bit. Wormser was working on some music. Showed it to me. I'm picking some guitar to it. We're going to do some more music. And I just came with like my podcast boner ready, bro. Like I'm ready.
You know what? No, we're going to...
Podcast boner ready.
Podcast boner. I was going to say let's refer to it as something else, but no.
Can we not clip that?
No, that's absolute... Oh, clip it? Cool. No.
Can we please not?
We won't clip it. We're definitely going to clip it. We won't clip it.
Like Tuesday, I'm going to see like... First thing is just going to say...
Podcast boner, and that's it. That's it.
You're gonna clip it, aren't you?
Probably going to clip it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the format we've been working with so far, is that we'll record the long form for, the full episode, and then Ty kind of does his thing with that. And then the clips you see on shorts and reels and TikToks and all that stuff, I've been clipping those, and I just get the funny parts or the informative parts or the interesting parts, I'd say, and I do the short form stuff. So
pretty damn good at that.
Thank you. I hope everyone else is enjoying that too. Like I said, 4th episode, we're still learning. We're still trying to figure stuff out. We want to know how you feel about everything. If you like it, if you think maybe we should switch roles and I not do the short form anymore, or if I should go a different route with it, or just let us know. Comment below, like, subscribe, comment. Let us know how you think about everything.
Share and show your friends.
Yeah.
Listen to us in the bathroom at work. While you're in the bathroom at work.
That's the best time, actually, is because...
In the car.
Yeah.
In your studio. Not in front of your family, though. We are not a family-friendly show.
I wouldn't say so. I mean, I don't know. Maybe your family's cool like that. Maybe they're...
Touche. Maybe
they're chill, and they vibe with us. If that's the fact, cool.
Yeah, maybe they're cool. Mac wants to be a part of the podcast. You hear that?
It's always... We end up always shooting close to his nap time, which we really gotta work on that, but... it's always right between like lunch
And I
and
was here
nap time.
early-ish today.
Yeah, and we just working
Uh-oh.
on.
He's in trouble.
We're still learning. It's episode 4.
Yep. And he's 3?
He's 2.5. Well,
2.
He was 2. He'll be 3 in December, which I guess not quite halfway, but
Almost 2 1/4.
there. Yeah.
No, there was moments like this when Olive was born, and I was shooting my podcast, and I literally just like look at the camera and be like,
And then you just splice those scenes out.
well, there was one that I kept. It was pretty good. It was like, I remember it was late night, and I had been drinking a little bit, and she just
I don't believe it.
Whatever. And she just walks down the hallway, and she was standing there in the kitchen at the breach of the kitchen in the hallway into the living room. You remember the orange beach house?
Yeah.
And I was sitting there looking towards my guitars with the camera facing me, and I just didn't notice her at all. And she scared me while I was shooting, and I left it in there, and I was like, you could see my face of terror. Like, I was like, God, Olive, what's the matter, babe? And I just like, I kept it in there. It was good. It was like natural podcast gold.
That's awesome.
Being scared and what feels like a bunch of people watching you, you're just like, can I do that?
It's like you feel like there's a bunch of people watching you, but at the same time, you're absolutely alone, and there might not be anybody on the other
The
side.
vulnerability of knowing that you're going to be in front of a bunch of people. You're like, does this stay? Does this not stay? Hey, shoes.
Oh yeah,
Shoe check.
I got shoes on today.
Shoe check. We're going to start doing this. It's going to be a regular thing. We're going to start doing shoe checks. Okay. I got the Court Visions reissues.
Those are nice. I like those.
Thanks, dude.
These are the Delta 2s
Love
that
those.
came out, which I think are a really slept on pair of shoes. Not only are they like
All the different.
they look
cross knits.
cool, but they're super comfortable. If you want a good looking shoe that's comfortable, get some Jordan Delta 2s. Like them a lot.
What did I say?
React.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's just part of the like technology of the sole that they use for comfort. Because I've got another pair of Air Force Ones that are Reacts, and they're some of the most comfortable shoes that I've owned. So highly recommend anything Jordan React is super comfortable.
Love a good shoe. It's my fave. Last time I wore my new Vans, and I don't think I showed them last time. We didn't do a shoe check last time.
No, I don't think we did.
We're going to do that every time. Look for a shoe check.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to get right into it. All right, first topic. I've known you for nearly a decade, dude, and I know nothing about your childhood. I feel like you know all about mine. I feel like you knew like where I grew up. Like I went to military school, and then I joined a band, and then met a group of like hardcore kids and scene kids, and it, you know, like you knew where I went, where I was doing.
Yeah.
You knew I played ball, like, you know, baseball player. You know what? I don't know anything about your childhood. I realized that the other day laying in bed.
Well,
in bed specifically.
I didn't think.
Like, were you an athlete? Did you play ball at all?
Well, okay. So let me preface this by saying I don't remember a lot of my childhood because I was in a really bad car accident when I was 13, and I lost all that memory. Like 90% of everything before my 13th birthday is just gone.
What?
I know I had to have told you about this.
I have never in my life heard
No
this.
way. I had to have told you about this.
I met you in 2016, and I have literally never heard you
all
talk
right,
about
strap
this.
in.
Yeah. This is, yeah.
So the way that story goes is I was hanging out with a couple of friends who were neighbors. I also lived at the end of a 2-mile dirt road when I was growing up. So like I lived out in the middle of nowhere. So just whatever. Anyway, we were out on a 4-wheeler one day, and happens every time.
That's a clip.
Wait. There we go. Okay. So note, bush light turns on and off the clap-on lights almost better than actual claps do, which is Interesting. Back to the story.
Sorry.
So we were out on a 4-wheeler one day on our dirt road and got into a head-on collision with a truck. And somehow I basically took the brunt of the hit and I broke my arm here. I broke this hip and I hit my head on the hood of the truck and I was in a coma for a week. And supposedly because of the traumatic incident, as well as some of the medication that the doctors had to give me, I lost basically all of my memory before that time. Just wiped my brain clean.
And you were 13.
Like hard reset when I was 13 years old. I turned 13 in May and the accident happened in July. So basically everything before 13 is just boop, gone.
So explain to me how that happened. And who was anyone with you on the 4-wheeler?
Yeah. There was somebody was driving. He was a neighbor who I didn't know.
So you were on the back of the 4-wheeler.
I was on the back of the 4-wheeler, and wear a helmet. I guess should it be the safety thing that we did, because we were just kids on a 4-wheeler on a dirt road.
I can't advocate that because I ride my 4-wheeler.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of people do. Like a lot of people who ride 4-wheelers don't wear helmets and stuff like that. Yeah. Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
No, so so a lot of people who ride 4-wheelers don't wear helmets and stuff like that. And we didn't know what we were doing. We just figured we were driving around like whatever. It was just a normal thing for people to ride 4-wheelers. And so it was one of my neighbors who was driving, and then me and my friend were on the back. And somehow we went around a turn at the same time as this truck. And
y'all must have been flying, and so
I don't know who was. I don't know. See, that's the thing, is I don't remember anything about the accident, so I can't tell you who was speeding or who didn't turn the right way.
Terror.
I don't remember. I don't remember anything.
Like the terror that was happening right in that moment.
It cleared it. I like for real factory reset on my brain before that day. I have very little memory of anything that happened before that day. Not even of that day. Really, my earliest memory, like vivid memory, is waking up in the hospital in Birmingham, because they had to helicopter me to USA, Women's and Children's, which is a local hospital here in Mobile. Helicopter me there, and then I was driven in an ambulance from there to UAB, which had a special traumatic brain injury facility thing that I had to go through. And that's where I woke up from my coma a week later after the accident, was and at UAB hospital in Birmingham.
So that was memory one. Memory
one isn't even waking up from the coma. It's just some of the stuff that I had to do in the hospital, where I had to relearn how to eat. I had to relearn how to feed myself. I couldn't walk because my leg was broken and my arm was broken. So I was in a wheelchair, so I couldn't even walk anywhere. And once I was all healed up from that, I had to relearn how to walk and do everything. When I say factory reset, I mean I had to start from go. And so I don't remember I know some things that I did by pictures and videos and stories that my family have told and stuff like that, but very little detail other than what I've been told.
So what was the healing process of that? When you get into an accident like that, your family basically is helping you re-become this little boy that you are.
Yeah, basically. So I think my earliest memory,
you were 14, 15 when you got back to life.
Close to 14, I think. Because that was 7th grade was about that time, yeah. And so I had to miss half of the year of school. And then but I was able to finish out the year at school. So there was this weird process of like I was getting homeschooled for a while just so I didn't get left behind. But then about midway through the year, my 7th grade year, I actually went back to school and had to like reintegrate into like just traditional schooling and learning and stuff like that. And yeah,
wow, dude,
big things like
I never knew that about you.
That's crazy. Well, I tend to talk about like my accident, and if anybody asks like, "Oh, what accident?" then I'll go into detail. But as you can see, we've already spent 15 minutes talking about it, and usually in a situation where I'm like out and about, I don't have like that kind of time to explain like everything that happened. So yeah, and I guess I just never brought it up in conversation with you before. But yeah, so that's why. So to go back to your original question, I did play baseball for a little while. I wasn't very good at it. I wasn't allowed to play sports after my accident because if I would have hit my head again, I basically would have. I was in such a
sensitive state.
Yeah, sensitive state, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Fragile. That if I would have hit my head again playing sports, like I could have started all over. And like, so the scariest thing.
So you had to relearn how to like count your ABCs, like your typical math history function.
I mean, basically everything. Okay, so one memory I have.
This was traumatic for your parents.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was.
Were they still together at the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a big deal. Some of my earliest memories were waking up in the hospital with the doctor plucking my stitches out because I had stitches right here, which you can still see the scar if I like grin the right way. You can see it.
It's adorable.
He goes from screaming to giggling and just he's all over the place.
That's funny.
It's probably nap time too. So
anyway, I'm sorry.
No, so one of my earliest memories is the doctor plucking my stitches out from right here. And then I have another memory of there's a McDonald's in the hospital and I had to go, like they wheeled me in my wheelchair down to the McDonald's, order, and then I had to like basically relearn how to feed myself. And I was having to relearn like hand-eye coordination type stuff. And I remember like trying to eat the fries, like the French fries, like I'd bring them up and I'd try and like move my head to like try and like get them on the fries, and they had to teach me to bring the fries to my mouth and stuff like. Basically, the doctors told my parents that there was a good chance I was going to be a vegetable. Like it was a crazy thing, and the fact that I bounced back the way I did, like nobody was expecting that. And so yeah, it was.
That's awful, dude.
It was crazy. Like, it was absolutely insane. And like, really, really, a lot of people didn't expect me to bounce back the way I did and be normal again. So, yeah. Pretty crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was, what a way to open the podcast. Couchcast is off to a great start.
Damn.
But yeah, so I wasn't supposed to be playing sports. Like after that, I still did play. I played basketball and soccer for fun once I was in high school, but like I wasn't supposed to play. A doctor would not clear me to play like through a physical to play on a team, like to play for my schools or anything like that. So I was never allowed to actually do that, like be a part of a team. So I would just play for fun and just kind of say, fuck it. Like, this is what I want to play and have fun, but I was never able to
participate competitively.
Competitively. Yeah. So I played sports, but I never got good enough at it I never was able to do it competitively. So I didn't stick to it long enough to be good at it. And that kind of is what led me into doing art and music. Which I always loved art and music growing up. I just never saw it as more of a hobby than anything. But then when I realized that I loved it so much and I wasn't allowed to do anything else, I kind of started
Leaned into it.
I kind of leaned into it more and realized that that's where my true passion was anyway.
Y'all are hearing this for the first time too. I've never, 7 years, 8 years, I've never heard that. I never knew that about you.
Kind of heavy.
I mean, wow.
Good thing we got that boner clip because everything else is going to be super heavy. We're not going to have anything funny to talk about.
You know, the only thing I can relate that to is Rowan's accident.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that.
Yeah. Wow.
Do you want to talk about that or no?
We'll save that for another episode.
Okay, cool. Yeah, not too much. We don't want to put too much. Yeah, we don't want to put too much pressure on everybody in this episode.
Yeah, they're like, "Damn, dude, it's a Monday. More Madness Monday.
Why are we doing this on a Monday?"
So
hopefully nobody's crying at this point. Like,
basically, my son was in a bad accident, and we'll revisit that on another episode. We'll save.
He's good though. He's okay.
Good.
So, well, I'll tell you that part, so you're not worried about it.
Yeah, he's good. Handsome as ever. Man, wow. Yeah, I bet your dad was tripping.
I mean, my whole family was. Like, my mom, my dad, my sister. My dad's side of the family all lives in Chicago, which is where I'm originally from. And a lot of them, like, came down to visit because they weren't sure, if they were going to see me again or like
in a coherent state.
Yeah, exactly. Like they didn't know what it was going to be like. So it was a huge deal. And like I said, I had to relearn how to do everything and they didn't think I was going to recover the way I did. And I missed a lot of school or I was behind and the fact I was able to catch up and just bounce back the way I did kind of surprised everybody. It was crazy. So what do you want to talk about?
Damn. All right. Well, I'm glad I asked that question.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about it while I was at work the other day. When I was in bed, I was thinking like, I don't know anything about Worm's childhood. Like I don't know him any deeper than like sharing the stage or doing podcasts or just going to the same shows, just musical stuff.
Yeah.
And, I was in your wedding. I know about you. I know your life.
I mean, we're friends. We're homies. But yeah, I haven't dove into like the early years, but that's mostly because the early years don't exist in my head anymore.
That makes sense. And see, I didn't even know that much, That's wild.
Yeah.
But then I was thinking at work, I was like, well, what are you going to ask him? And I was like, just ask him like sports stuff or music stuff. Cause I got into music around the same time you did. Like always into it, but like actively like early teens, like was like, okay, I want to be different when I walk in the room. I want to be that different person. I want to be the musician. I want to create something that other people connect with. That whole wheel started to turn like with puberty. So
did your music journey start with actually like picking up a guitar and playing it?
Oh yeah, it was all country music.
Cool.
Yeah, it was all like I guess like in the early 90s it was things like, Dwight Yoakam, Travis Tritt, Vince Gill, Diamond Rio, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. It was all just like lighthearted stuff that would play throughout my house, and then occasionally you'd hear like some CCR, some Led Zeppelin, or like shit, I don't know. I guess like more pop rock stuff like Def Leppard and things like that, And it was always like, this is awesome. Like I love this shit, rock and country music. And it was like I was a baby. Like there's pictures of me. It's on my Instagram of me like being.
I think I've seen those. I'm pretty sure I've seen those.
Baby jamming a guitar,
Hell
know.
Yeah.
But then it just grew into like I heard like Green Day and Sublime on the radio, and that was around the ska era. So it was like, X Games was real big, and so I lived at the beach, so that was like it was everywhere.
Right.
So I don't know, and then it went from like country and rock to like punk rock and alternative stuff.
And I'm sure that was probably around your teenage years, so it was like perfect perfect timing to transition into that punk stage and just rebellious and which is always fun. I mean, who doesn't love to fuck the system.
Yeah, fuck the system. Man. But and that genuinely like is what created my personality now. I think is that like I took more staples from the country and the rock, but I developed a personality within the rebellious alternative music scene, and then took that into like producing and wanting to be a DJ and being a good producer and a songwriter, more importantly. And then that's where it kind of just slowly fell back into, like we said, I think it was episode two, where it's like the snake eating the tail.
Oh yeah.
Like I just started here and I went around all these sorts of, not phases, because it was things that I still apply today. It was like things I still take with me. So yeah. So teenage years, it was that. But it was also like heavy music. It was like I started playing music when I went to my first hardcore show. It was like a metal band, a few metal bands and a hardcore band. And I was like, wow, like the energy coming off this floor right here is just like, I want to come back here tomorrow.
Hell yeah. No, and that's kind of funny that you say that, because that was where my love for like heavy electronic music came from. Like I was always a fan. I mean, I always had, music growing up. Always loved music. I always had music playing in the house and stuff like that. But the first time I think my dad introduced me to like electronic music was back when it was very...
'Cause he's a rocker.
Yeah. Oh,
Your dad's a bass player.
Yeah, my dad's a bass player.
Yeah.
And yeah, so again, like I always grew up around heavy rock music and stuff like that. And it was cool, but like I didn't relate to it. So I think there's a little bit of a separation there. I enjoy listening to it now, but like just back then.
You were like looking for your sound.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And I kind of fell in love with hip hop at the time. And I just felt more at home and relatable with hip hop.
Yeah.
Anyway, but then my dad introduced me to like the Crystal Method and the Prodigy and Daft Punk and like
all fucking awesome.
Yeah, just
groups,
like
dude.
that kind of electronic music, because that's
they're all duos too.
Actually I didn't think about
they're
that.
All duos.
Yeah. But so yeah, like electronic music, and so that was the first time I ever heard electronic music. And then when I got to college, somebody was like, "Hey, there's this show downtown. Do you want to go?" And I was just looking for friends at that point, and I was just like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." Like I just felt like an outcast, and I was like, "Let's go. This sounds like it's fun." And it was like one of the first ever like EDM events. It even was
Glow Rage.
It wasn't Glow Rage. It was called TKO, and it was at the
God!
It was at the original Alabama Music Box.
I do remember that.
That was a long time ago.
That music box was
like
awesome. They supported every type of music.
The new one does.
Metal.
The new one does too, but the old one just had those. Like,
it's contingent on the vibe of the crowd.
I agree. Though. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes. The first show I ever went to was one of the first TKOs at the old Music Box in Mobile, and that was like the first electronic music event, and that's where I heard dubstep for the first time.
Year.
And
what
the
year?
Vibes.
What year? 2000.
That was probably 2010.
Oh, okay.
Because I
had to be before. Well, okay. Yeah. Because makes sense. Yeah.
It may have been like December of 2009.
I was about to say it had to be before because
it was late 2009, early 2010. Because after I experienced that and listening to that, hearing the music, seeing the vibe, seeing the way the crowd just responded to it, and also seeing the way that community
treated each other
and came together and was actually a community.
I'm basing it off Scary Monsters. Like
that's the time. That's around the time that was going on. And that was when I was like, I want to do this.
Yeah, I'm coming back.
I want to not only experience this, but I want to get that feeling that from the crowd every time I perform. I do anything. I want to give that to somebody. I want to give that experience to somebody.
So you bought a mixer.
So that's when I first started learning how to DJ. And it had like this Newmark mix track, like 2-channel. Like it was the most basic mixer you could get. And I started learning how to DJ on that. And then eventually progressed to a Mix Track Pro, which was a little bit more professional.
4 channels?
No, it still had 2.
It just had like the little toggles and
but
the
I was
able
to actually like plug it up and have its own sound card to where I could play out what I didn't hear in my headphones.
Mhm.
Like it was just more advanced, and I was able to actually play out and do shows that way. And yeah, it's just been building since then. And I live to give people the experience that I felt, give people the experience and the feeling that I had from that first show. And that's always what drives me behind everything I create and every set that I play, is I want to give people that feeling.
What was my first DJ show?
It had to have been something in Gulf Shores. Because you were doing stuff there before we ever linked up and did anything in Mobile. What was that bar you were playing at for a long time?
Cocktails and Dreams.
Yeah.
That was towards the end.
Was? Okay.
Live Bait. Mm-hmm.
Was Live Bait your first one?
That was my first show because Colton called me and was like, "Do you want to open up the show from 9 to 10?" And I was like,
Yes, I do.
I said, dude, I was tripping.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. Though.
I was tripping so hard. Not tripping, but I was like
geeking out.
Dude.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. This is dumb. What are you doing? And I showed the fuck up.
Well, that trial by fire. Sometimes that's the best way to do it.
There's pictures of it too. I think that's my first one though. I want to say that's wrong. Because I have tons of Mudbug memories. I have a few Hangout memories.
Mudbugs. That's what I was thinking of, is Mudbugs.
I have a few Harpoon memories. Tons of house parties. House
parties is where it kind of...
I want to say that was my first for real show.
Yeah. No.
Was that Serenity's trailer in the middle of nowhere on County Road 10, but it seemed like the whole town was there. Like high school friends, all my immediate friends. Like it was years before we got close. We had already known each other. But it was like, we broke that trailer.
Yeah.
It was, I want to say that. And then that's when I was like, gimme, I can do this. And then, but I was still tripping about that Live Bait show. I was like, dude, there's going to be at least 100 people at this motherfucker. So how many shows do you think you've played?
I have no idea. There's no way I could even.
Okay,
I've been DJing since 2010. I probably had my very first show outside of somebody's house, because it all started with house parties. And I think probably 2011, 2012 was maybe the first time I ever played outside of that wasn't somebody's house. And God, I honestly have no idea. But so it's 2023 now. I've been doing this for
a little over 10 years.
I mean, I've
12 years.
Playing live probably about 12 years, DJing about 13. So yeah.
How many shows did you play at your height? 2018, 2019. That's probably your height.
I feel like I'm in my height right now, but I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. The last time it was big.
That's when shit started going for you.
Right.
People started for real looking at you.
I was playing a show, at least one show a week.
So I mean, my thing is that I've attended around 1,000 shows, and I've played between 200 and 300 in my life. I would even venture to say that there was a portion of my life where I was drinking real hard, and there could be some black holes in my brain that I don't. I mean, if I've played upwards of those amounts of shows that I remember and that I can kind of comb through them, and I have there's tangible, okay, well, I remember from April to August, I had at least 6 shows a month. And then, so that was I remember doing this thing, or I remember going on this tour. It was I remember that. But what about what I don't remember? I'm gonna say safely between 200 and 300. I have played myself. I've been to close, dude. It seems like thousands of
And
shows.
see, that's the thing is like I'm trying to think, and I honestly can't even put a number on it.
It's hard.
It because I've been doing it for so long, and
keeping count.
There was a period of time where I was playing like, I mean, 3, 4, 5 months in a row where I would play at least one show a week, and sometimes more than that. Sometimes I do a show Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in a week.
Dude, I miss that.
And oh god, I do too. Like that's the thing is like that's what I want to get back to. I want to get that like once I can make music my full-time thing, I want to play different cities, different venues, and just travel and play music and like make a living strictly off of music.
How do you feel about that though now being a father? Because I remember strictly my ex-wife was very adamant about me being home, and she was never ugly about it. She was never vindictive about it. And now that I reflect on it, it was more because she was real young and probably just nervous and scared. Totally understandable.
Yeah.
But the foresight of like this young man that I'm with has like a small window where he knows people that are currently doing things now, and he's not so bad at it himself. Like he could maybe wedge this into his life or wedge us through this hole into this new life that would allow him to not have to work a 9 to 5 for forever. Foresight. But when Rowan was born, I felt the need to not only be more supportive of her ideals on that, but I was like, I want to be present. I didn't want to miss a moment. Like being a dad was way more important to me than being on stage. And maybe it's because I had been on stage enough at that point to be like, okay, 2 different lanes,
Right.
separating the two. How do you feel about that? Like how long can you go before you're like, where is Mac?
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. I think my dream would be to get to a point where when I am playing that frequently and stuff like that,
They're with you.
They're with me. And I can take my family with me and we just travel together because I don't want to just travel and play shows and do it by myself. I want to do it with my family.
But don't you think that's such a fucking expensive, hard thing to pull off?
Now, yes. Like I do. But that's what I'm saying. Like dream scenario is I'm playing frequently enough and making enough money to where I can support us traveling all the time. We always have a home base that we can come back to, Sunday through Wednesday, like this is home. And then I go out and play 2 or 3 shows in a weekend and then come back home and stuff. And that's the dream. The dream is to be able to travel 2 or 3 days out of the week and then be home the rest of the time. And I mean, realistically,
what's your small time dream before that? Like, what are you trying to do now? Just quit the vet and do music full time?
Well, the thing is I'm not even like trying. I mean, I would love to do music full time, but right now, especially with the way the music industry is right now, I realize that there's just not like a ton of money out there for musicians, just like for the taking. You really have to grind it out with something else besides music. You have to be selling merch. You have to have like some sort of
social media presence,
other side hustle, like paid sponsorships or
to make
something
people
like that.
Interested in your craft.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to have something else bringing money in besides just putting music out there, because with streaming numbers and stuff like that, like it's not going to pay the bills if you're relying on Spotify streams to keep your lights on every month. It's just not going to happen unless you're doing like millions and millions of plays at a time. Like that's just not going to happen. So right now I'm okay with working a day job and doing music. I just realize it's taking up more time, but it's keeping me comfortable. And that's right now is I'm living comfortably and still working towards the dream of being able to do that full time and travel full time and have my family with me
While
I travel.
That's kind of where I'm at. I would like, I guess, more smaller pockets of travel. I would like to do, like when I release this set of acoustic songs, and then what we're working on, and then like I have my more hip hop endeavored sort of things, and like I have my irons in like 3 different musical fires at the moment, and I want just to be able for those to get off the ground to where I could take it somewhere for like 2 weeks at a time and then come home and continue my thing, continue my day to day. Because I've realized now I don't want to do it. If I had to do it full time, I would want to do it at a scale that is higher than where I would have to start. Because I did all that footwork for so long, and then I took so much time off, and now that I'm redoing it, I want to either just create, and then have enough material to take out and like have like 10 shows in a 12 days period, and then come back home, or have it done on someone else's dime so I can go a little further, turn that 2 week into a month. Or like how I was doing it originally was just knowing people. My dad always told me it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I took my little bit of talent and my lot of bit of knowledge and wedged it into this fucking musical cookie and just started serving it to people. Like if there was a band that I was seeing and they needed a place to stay, you stay in my house. If you're playing guitar in my living room while you're at my house and you're working on the show for tomorrow, I'm sitting there watching you drinking beer with you. So I didn't have to work so hard on the craft that maybe I could get it to a level to where it was just decently good, and then take from all these other people who are much more talented than me and allow that to, work its magic on whatever I was doing. But now being a dad, man, it's like, that's all that I can allow myself. I can probably do a week or two. Okay. Collectively, I think I could sacrifice 3 months out of my year to like tour and play shows away from home. Because when I'm at home, I could play literally whenever I get off work and then come home, because the surrounding cities and venues we play is all drivable.
Yeah. But
doing that, how you're talking about like going to different towns and stuff, not a problem, but I couldn't do it for.
Are you saying a total of like 3 months out of the year? Or are you saying 3 months at a time? Like 3 months and then not do it again for the rest of the year?
Either or. I could do 3 months. I think that would be the hardest, but I think like a lot of them out grouped together. I think throughout the year, I could probably sacrifice 3 months. Like I could do 2 weeks here, stay home for a few months, do 2 weeks here, maybe a quick week, and then come home, stay dormant for a while. And then, you know what I mean? And then all together throughout the year, I toured for like 90 days. So that's like what I'm thinking in my mind is feasible for like my mind and heart. But then again, that's all on my dime. If there was a machine pushing me to do it,
yeah, absolutely.
I'm pretty sure I would find the motivation to pull it off. Like when I sent my resume to that dude Steve in Pensacola, he does sound for NoFX, Alanis Morissette. He does the sound at Furnace Fest every year, which is like the country's biggest hardcore music festival, and it's in Birmingham.
That's Lost Furnace, yeah.
And I sent him my resume like willy-nilly. Like I sent him 2. I sent him like my work laborer resume, and then I sent him like a very combed version of my music stuff, because there's so much. It's like I was told that pick 5 of your goldest moments in music, put it there. Pick 5 of your goldest moments in work, put it over here. And he fucked with it. And it was because Lauren made it all pretty. My sister made it all pretty and made it all nice and neat, professional and cool. And he was like, dude, this thing is fucking good.
Hell yeah.
And that was my lane. Like that was like not because I'm past the age of fake it till I make it, because I know how to do shit now. But in certain moments, it feels like you're faking it till you make it. Like the imposter syndrome from last episode. It was kind of like, all right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna bullshit this. I say all that to say the comparison thing. Like, I asked you how you could be away. How long do you think you could be away from Mac or Chelsea? I just think like I'm super involved with just like my day-to-day image and like what I create throughout the year versus my image of creation and then how I look throughout the year. So it's like those have taken a back, one's got up front, the other one's taking a back seat now. But I don't know, like being single and last episode 1, I was like, I got a girlfriend now. For the record, I was talking to someone, wasn't technically my girlfriend, but I just say girlfriend.
You got excited.
I say girlfriend, like I don't just say, oh, I'm talking to someone now. I just say like, I got a.
He's a single man. He
romantic
single man
girlfriend.
Yeah.
But now that's taken back. That's not around anymore. So, but yeah, I'll say all that to say that I could probably, unless I got on a tour like with that guy Steve, or knew someone that wanted my stage building skills versus my musician skills, I could make that work. If you and I saved like $8,000 up for a year so we could go on like a 60-day tour, that's something that would take more emotional effort on my part.
Oh yeah.
Well,
that's like what you were talking about when you said, is if it was on somebody else's dime, it would be a lot easier. And that's really the thing that is holding me back, I think, is that I don't have any
spare quiche.
It's all on me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the funding, everything, and that's why I've learned how to do so much, is because I can't afford to send my music off to mixing and mastering, and I can't afford to.
But have you though?
I've done it once or twice in the past.
What is the quality and difference?
Back then, it was big, but I feel like I've got to a point now where I know what I'm doing.
You have some
enough.
nice tools.
I feel like I know what I'm doing enough, and I don't even have like all the professional.
You have good sound, which is the most important.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that does help. That I'm not listening in headphones all the time. So that does help.
Motherfuckers don't clean their ears no more. They can't hear shit right, and they release it, and it's like what?
Just I mean, listening in one pair of headphones is different from listening in like AirPods, which most of your listeners are going to be listening in AirPods, or they're just going to be listening on your phone even.
God,
and
that's so annoying.
But that's the thing, is like you have to be able to
applicate yourself,
appease
to that.
those people. Yeah. You have to like everyone's not going to be listening in a treated studio. Everyone's not going to be listening in a pair of
store-bought Beat headphones or something like
you're
that.
You're not going to listen to music on professional headphones, and it not everybody has the ideal listening condition, so you need to make sure that it sounds good in all listening conditions so that everybody can consume it somewhat the same way. But so I've sent my music off for mixing and mastering in the past a long time ago when I had no idea what I was doing. And at the time,
I ask him for help sometimes.
It does sound better. But like now I've got to a point where I feel like I can do a well enough job myself that
I pay that $500.
I don't need to. Like I've invested enough in learning and figuring out how to use the tools I do have to make my stuff sound good.
By the way, the acoustic stuff that I was referring to earlier, I'm going to record it right here.
Yeah. We're recording right here. We're doing music here, and then at Ty's house, and then we're going to do it separately and send it to each other and make stuff that way. And we're going to enjoy the process. That's what I was talking about before. Is we're going to enjoy the process and not feel like we have to get this out by a certain time.
But sub-preface, in that particular scenario, like our electronics, our computer-based music is being made in a together setting off and on. But my acoustic stuff is something I've written completely on my own. And I'm like, hey, I don't know how to do this, because I feel like we deal with so much like sound and so much noise, just boom, 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 that this is so bare. Like, I don't know what to do with it. I don't know how to make it sound crispy. Because it's so naked. It's like, I need another set of ears on this bitch to tell me, you've been listening to it too much. That doesn't sound as great as you think it does. Or like, that sounds great, dude. Let me. And then I started thinking, what if like you came up with something real soft to put behind it? And I was like, oh shit. Like,
which is difficult for me, because I'm usually into like heavy, hard, like fast paced, energetic stuff.
Pending our lo-fi track, we'll pend like these 4 tracks. I'll have the original acoustic version with just me and Mike, him playing steel, me doing acoustic and singing. And then I want to release 4 more with things, even though you've recorded the original 4 vocally and guitar wise, and I send it off to him. He does his thing. I bring it back to you. You're like, all right, everything sounds cool. You can release it. Then it would be cool if you made like, I'm going to take these 4 songs, or what you could do is maybe take pieces of all 4 and make 2 songs or one big one with like something behind it. That's not, I know you're very heavy based, but maybe like cut the heavy in half and make it just heavy distortion to just light distortion.
Yeah.
And like you could do, I don't know. Like I'm just thinking, I hear what you create and I'm like, I don't think there's not really any sample you couldn't work with. I think that anyway.
I feel like
maybe my opinion is biased because you're my boy.
Well, thank you.
You know?
I always try and keep an open mind to when I hear something. I feel like I can make something out of it.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Like, and then that's more music for me to put out with your name on it. And it's just like, dude, it's just like create overload. It's that's like 8 songs right there. And then we're working on some. And then I've got my solo, like hip hop, like instrumental kind of thing that I'm going to take a stab at. It's like just so much music at once. Just, I love it. And that's why you said under a smooth working frame, I'm more like, yes, let's fucking do it. Like, I don't know. I'm a dad like you. So I like when I'm here, I hammer down. When I'm at home, hammers up. I like lightly create. I put ideas together. I come here and I look in that corner and I'm just like, I'm going to fuck that thing up. I'm gonna fucking do it, dude. My
mic is over there. There's nothing over there that he would actually fuck. It's my microphone.
Yeah, metaphorically speaking, but like I'm ready, bro. Like that's why I got to a not an argument, but like a slight debate of like, damn, this is bright. Where I had too much. Sorry guys. Of like they said the new Morgan Wallen album came out. It was 36 songs and it had tons of writing creds. And from where I'm from, like you said earlier, in the EDM realm, you loved how everybody treated each other. I love how people treat each other when they create, when you're writing something or shooting a cast or like, I love that creative thing. So I'm like, I'm all about collaboration. It's great sitting down and writing a song. I sat down and wrote these chords and put these lyrics and vocals to it. That's mine. But if I give it to you to help put some bigger balls on it, now it's our thing.
Right.
And it's like, that's great. I love collabs. That's where my energy comes from. I love help.
Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
Help. I love help.
I think people who complain about like all the writing credits on songs and stuff like that don't realize what actually goes into like making a song.
What sounds so simple.
Right,
it
exactly.
wasn't that simple.
Everybody thinks that like...
And this guy, by the way, great guy, fucking awesome musician. His opinion was just different than mine. That's all.
And that's all it is an opinion. But I think a lot of the opinions of, oh, why do you need, 7 or 8 people on one song? Like, why can't this one artist just do it by himself? Those people don't realize what actually goes into making a song. It's not necessarily just like...
Or if they do realize it, they just don't like it. They'd rather do it more organically, which is fine.
They think that it just takes one person to sit down in a studio, record mix, master it, do everything themselves, and then put it out, and it's this magical thing that this one person created. And unfortunately, that's just not how it is anymore.
Rarely happens like that.
Rarely does it happen like that because... it would take so much knowledge for one person to have to be able to do all those things that usually it takes 7 or 8 people. And then also if he had one song written and he has like 1 or 2 people read over it and say, hey, change this word or change this.
This would sound a little bit better creatively speaking.
This would sound a little bit better, blah, blah, blah. Just a little bit of feedback. They immediately go on writer's credits.
And that's okay.
That is okay. But I think what other people see when they see 7 or 8 people is 7 or 8 people sitting around a table helping them write everything word for word. Like, oh, like then you say this and then you say this and then guy number 2 says yeah and then say this and say that. That's just not how it works.
That is true, and you can back me up on this probably just from your musical knowledge. There is a paying pecking order. It's typically the person who laid the foundation and flattened the ground for it will get paid a little bit more, and then so on and so forth down. Like it's mainly like in the instance that I'm using now with the Morgan Wallen thing, like there's a lot of Michael Hardy and Keith Ernest and then Morgan Wallen because they're 3 best friends. They all write on each other's stuff. Like Hardy and Ernest are not making as much on that as Morgan would. Or in a certain situation like that, when you have a publishing credit, like for those of you who don't know, if you're writing a song if you're not a part of a publication team that is writing a song and you come in and write on it, you will get a percentage of it. It will not be as big as the publication's percentage. Now, if that song goes to someone else that was not even in the goddamn room, they will make the same publication credit they will get paid at the same rate as the guy who wrote it, and then everybody else will fall, and then I think in a lot of situations the people like the head honcho singing the song clearly gets the most quiche. Everyone beneath it, depending on the amount of writers or which layer writing style it was written in or created in, will dictate. They'll probably make the same amount. Like this guy gets X amount of money, and then all these guys get a certain percentage.
That's why you have split sheets, and you have to go through all that stuff almost at the beginning.
And that's why there's songwriters that never hit the stage that are fucking awesome.
Exactly.
Is because that's what they're doing. That's their job.
You have some people who are songwriters, but they don't want to be artists. So they come in and they help with songwriting. And then, like I said, with the split sheets and stuff like that, you kind of have to have that hashed out before you get too far.
It coagulates everybody's pain.
Right. Because then you say, hey, like you're the lead artist. So you get 60%, and then you divvy up that other 40% to 10% goes here and 5% goes here and 2.5% goes here and the label's gonna take 20% off the top of what everybody makes.
And what's cool now, what I love about how like shitty and beautiful the music atmosphere is, whether it be from like trap rap to like New Orleans street jazz, is that everyone is so interested in music now that small labels and larger labels are getting really good about being more than willing to pay someone to come in and help create something. We do have stories like what we talked about last episode and today earlier where people are kind of stupid and they're putting out shit they don't know that wasn't created by the actual artist, which we'll get into. But like everything is so accessible now. Like the camera that you used to pay $500 for in 1995 is now in your pocket on your phone.
Oh yeah.
The voice recorder that's on your phone or on this little bitty on this little bitty $400 Sony little thing with those little cross mics was once the best studio microphone you could afford. Those things Steve, what's his name? Steve Lacy, who records all of his music on his fucking phone.
Yeah.
All my samples that I've ever made in any of my songs, all on my phone. Now, I take them to bigger components to make my music.
Oh, yeah, you have to.
But their organicism is on the phone.
I talked about that in a earlier episode. I don't remember which one it was, but I've got a ton of voice notes on my phone. And then also you have people like Fred again, and who do field recordings, and while they're on the subway they'll just record something or whatever, get something organically off of their phone or off of a field recorder and then send it to Ableton or FL or whatever they're using.
Tinker with it.
And then you just make something. You can do so much with stuff that everybody has now. Exactly like you were saying.
It's everywhere.
All you need is a phone and an idea, and you can do whatever you want to do.
Genuinely can. Like I need a little bit of, like a small amount of quiche, a phone, and an idea. That is it. Like that is all you need to come up with something great. The compatibility from the idea to the component you're using is entirely up to you, but like if you listen to my music now, like if I die and someone listens to my music, you will find samples in my music that are like, to me, the most professional pieces of things that I've ever done, because they are always one of one, like always. And I pride myself on that. And sometimes to me, they say like sometimes it's the little things. It is for me in the music. It's little things like that that'll make the song. It's like, I listen to so many different things when I'm listening to music that when it comes to those little bitty, for real, sprinkles, I love that shit. Like little things that you don't hear until you're listening to it real loud.
The ear candy.
The ear candies,
Ear
man.
candy.
That is it, dude. I love that shit. And so I say all that to say that, you know, to reference that to the labels and to like the talent and the wherewithal to what we were talking about, is that some labels are more than willing to pay people to come in and make something sound great, because a lot of times nowadays, that is how great artists and songwriters are discovered, is because like there's so many run-of-the-mill SoundCloud rappers that are also great in their own right, and there's so many like female country artists that all sound super awesome, that there's got to be something that, like, if someone can pay someone $1,800 to come in for a full 12 hours days worth of work and help create a song, and it makes its way even close to like a charting hit or something popping off on SoundCloud or Reddit or this or that or Instagram, TikTok, more often than not, that's going to start a flame, and then you're going to get called back. And then before you know it, you're in a wheelhouse of writing music because you're handpicked because you actually have a fucking good skill. You know, I feel like in our case nowadays, the way that you and I found each other, it was like we were in a mix of like all these, and I say this super lightly, but people who really just they're like wannabes. They just wanted to be like like something. And I felt like you and I saw each other and was like, you're not like everybody else here. Like you kind of got some, you know what I mean? And that's relative to what I'm saying. That is how you see, like, I don't know, man. Like you real recognize as real. You see somebody on TikTok, you're like, what the fuck? This dude's making TikTok. But he has like fucking talent. He does something good. He may be able to like master your shit better than you. He may be able to like pay someone to come in and fucking make your shit greater. You know, don't be so hateful on having the whole like Morgan Wallen 36 songs. Well, if it wasn't for all those other writers, there's 36 songs that are all doing fucking awesome. Every single one. All 36 songs are doing great. Great. 500,000 to 4 million listens on YouTube. And that's on YouTube. That's where you get, that's not even doing the Spotify thing. That is like, to me, what gets music in people's ears, versus if you're just a solo dolo kind of guy or gal, it takes a lot more footwork. It takes a lot more like push and drive to get that shit out, where if you have a team, you're like, it's why they call it a team.
Yeah,
like you get there.
It's absolutely a team.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. Maybe I just got adamant about that for no reason.
It's true. If
he's not wrong. He's got his own opinion and he's right. If you're into like Warren Zevers and Ben Todd, or early singer-songwriter shit, yes. But nowadays, like, the more juice in the creation, the better, I think,
One person can put a lot of push, but a big team can all work collectively to put more push. I mean, and unfortunately, a lot of the push comes from money. So like you're a little bit, but there are outlets like YouTube and TikTok and just.
But that's how the people with money find you.
I was about to say the money, just the social media in general can be better than money if you know how to just entertain and catch people's attention with what you do, and if the right person sees it, that could change everything.
It's true. Hey, on that note, I gotta pee. Let's take a break.
All right. Do I get it?
Oh, no, you go.
No, you did it.
No. All right, well, we'll do one, and then we'll come back in on that one.
Okay.
All right, go. I'm telling you, that's what I want to do. I want to do something like Break-Ins or like Gavin.
I just followed him.
Dude, I want his song Poseidon will rock your shit. I'm telling you. Poseidon. Put that on your... I'm listening to Break-Ins on the way home. You got to listen to Poseidon by Gavin. Anyway, welcome back. How you doing? Oh, man. So we got to talking about other musical shit, and we got distracted.
No, we had epiphanies while we were on break, and now we are.
I came up with a riff, and then now we went down the wormhole.
Did you mean to do that?
No, I didn't, but that was nice though.
Nice.
That was good. I feel like this episode was maybe it's because we don't have any lights on, but this episode was a little darker than most.
It was darker literally and emotionally, and yeah, just all around. It was. Hopefully, you're not too turned off by it, but it was.
Hopefully, you're still watching.
Yeah, definitely hope you're still watching. But yeah, we like to have fun episodes where we're funny and we're talking about sticking our hands in cake, and then we have these other episodes where we go through like life events and our feelings and a little bit heavier, but we just want everybody to be involved. We want everybody to talk and start conversations.
I'm serious, dude. I want to do something like that.
Absolutely.
I want to not only complete our Sullivan King thing and do our lo-fi thing, but like when we get rhythm on that and we're like, okay, look, like we released these two things. This has got our names on them. Let's for real, because I feel like even after all the years, you've never, like, you've seen me play guitar a few times, but you've never heard me sing or play or heard any of my songs or anything like that. Like,
I may have seen you sing or heard you sing a couple times, but at your house or something. Like, not, maybe. I feel
Has it been since I completed my vocal class? I completed my vocal class the end of last year.
Oh, well then absolutely not. No.
It was like Thanksgiving of last year.
No, I didn't know you ever took a vocal class.
I took a 6-month vocal course and I graduated that bitch.
Hell yeah. And that's what he got. Those burps, those beautiful burps.
Yep, it's pipe control. But yeah, dude, I feel way more like I like hearing myself sing, you know, like I like, so I don't know. I just got the creative, like last time I was here, when I come here, I'm like, what I need to start doing is getting up with Chelsea like the week prior and be like, look, I need him for 12 hours. Like I need him for 12 hours.
Well, that's hopefully what the
I will leave
studio
a 50 on the counter and you and Matt can go do whatever you need to do. Just let me rent him for.
That's how we start making money off of the home studios, by renting my time.
But I feel like I'm an insider, so it's like the money's coming from the inside.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Right? Absolutely.
You know?
But no, that's what the whole,
it's like your cousin being the only one buying your shirts. Kind of thing. You know, you're like, well, I'm selling shirts, but I say that because my cousin bought a ton of my shirts.
Well, hey, that's good that you have that kind of support. That's awesome. No, but that's what the studio is supposed to create, is just creativity vibes. Like you come in here and you feel inspired to make something.
You've captured it. And maybe it's because it's all things I like Mac, percussion, Star Wars, Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
Shoes, DJing.
Just stuff to inspire and
Musica.
Yeah.
The Musica Studio. What do you call this place?
So it has a few different names. I mean, it's my studio.
It's the Doghouse.
Definitely not the Doghouse. I'm pretty sure that's taken. The fun one that I used to call my apartment when I first lived on my own, and my apartment was like just for music and throwing parties and shit like that. Like I called it. Okay, so the apartment complex was called Maison de Ville, which is townhouse in French, so it's nothing special. But because it was Maison de Ville, I renamed my apartment Maison de Folie, which means House of Madness in French.
What?
So that's I've just kept that going as just whatever. Like, and I have no French like background at all, except for I took 2 years of it in high school. But other than that,
that's French background, dude.
So
a little bit.
That's a little bit. Anyway, so yeah, so I just kept up Maison de Folie as the name of wherever I create music. So House of Madness, whatever.
More Madness was in the works way before you even knew. Madness was sticking
way back.
Yeah, man, this has been a dark episode. I feel like we've done nothing but talk about like depressing musical views that are going in ways that are slow moving or negative or like traumatic events.
But you gotta have the rainy days to appreciate the sunny ones.
Touche.
So
Also,
so 4 episodes in and we're just now having a rainy day. I feel like this was needed so you can appreciate the sunny days and the fun ones.
Touche. That is true. I also have a few more things that I wanted to bring up.
All right.
Okay, on our last wing of this podcast, episode 4. Okay, so we'll start from the bottom and go to the top. a small 5-year plan, non-musical. No music, no podcast. Like, what is your 5-year plan outside looking into your normal life? Like, is there like a car, like a house? Is there like somewhere you want to take Chels?
I've already got a car. I've already got a house. And that's the thing is like...
Well, I know that, but I just meant...
No, but what I'm saying is like...
I mean, the answer is no. So
yeah, and that's the thing is like I'm happy now and I'm comfortable, and my whole goal outside of music is to live a happy and comfortable life.
So you're on the wave that you want to be on.
So I'm currently where I'm at as far as that goes. I mean, obviously, money, you always want to make more money somehow, right. But like I'm happy with my job. My day job is cool, and my bosses are cool to where I'm able to work on music and travel when I need to. So I don't want to change anything with that. I'm happy with owning a home. I'm happy with owning my own studio. I'm happy with my car, and like there's nothing that I'm desperate to change other than where I'm at currently with my music. I'm happy with where I'm at in my music, but I feel like I can take it further. And that's really, and kind of funny because I was just thinking about this. Like in those fleeting moments of maybe music isn't for me, or maybe like, I know it's a brief, fleeting, just passing thought, as in like maybe I should just give it up. And I would think about it for just literally seconds, and what would I do with my life if I wasn't doing music? Because I feel like it's so much a part of my life. I can't imagine if all I did was go to a 9-to-5 job, come home, and have nothing else that I'm working towards. Like, just keeping it depressing in this episode. If I wasn't working towards a music career, which I have a music career, but if I wasn't working towards more in my music career, I don't feel like I would be working towards anything else, and I feel like that would be super depressing. Yeah. Do you have a 5-year plan?
Yeah, I do have a 5-year plan. I'm like kind of in the middle of my 5-year plan. Like my 5-year plan started with my divorce. So I'm on it. Like I'm in it. Like I feel like I'm wedged in. The only thing that I haven't done thus far is get a new vehicle. I would like to get a new vehicle. I have a fine one now, great, nice, clean vehicle. But there's certain things that I want. I want to become more of a collected individual, a more centered individual, a more mentally controlled individual. I want to like have control over like my Zen to temperament ratio a little bit better. That's a constant struggle. And I want to look better physique wise. I'd like to start doing things to make, aside from those 3 things, it's just maintaining what I've actually already kind of accomplished.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, top 3 favorite podcasters of all time.
So I guess technically right now
we're doing Stranded Island. Podcasters.
Yeah. As of right now, he's not exactly a podcaster. He's a comedian and he has his own podcast. But Neil Brennan.
Oh, the creator of Chappelle Show.
Yeah.
Oh, Neil Brennan's amazing.
Yeah. He's got this podcast called Blocks, and it's really with it. It's really interesting to hear him and his guests talk about like their what they had growing up that is now like affecting their mental health, and kind of compare and contrast like what I
love how much of a smartass he is.
Oh, that's always funny too.
I love for a skinny white dude, he will like give it right back.
Yeah, his wit and his comebacks and stuff like that. But yeah, no, he's great. He's a great comedian and a great writer, and yeah, that podcast has been really interesting to listen to.
Neil Brennan.
Brennan.
Great. For those of you who don't know, Neil Brennan was the producer and writer for all the Chappelle Show.
All the Chappelle Show, yeah. No, he was basically, it was him and Dave, and they were doing everything with Chappelle Show.
And now he's got his own like if you're a comic and you don't have a podcast, you're special now because there's less comics that have a podcast than ones that do.
I mean, but I feel like that's one of the routes you take, especially nowadays. Like you can't always, be writing a movie. You can't always be writing a TV show. You can't always be doing stand up.
You can always be creating music.
You can just jump in front of a camera and do a podcast.
Touche. So, especially if you're creative. So
yeah, and it's definitely a creative thing.
Okay, so no Brennan.
I feel like it's almost like a negative thing to say at this point, but Joe Rogan obviously he's got an incredible podcast. Some of the stuff he talks about is a little like
dicey,
I guess is a good word for it.
He hits sketchy grounds.
Yeah, I don't always agree with everything he's talking about, and I don't always. But then again, like I don't think you're supposed to. You're probably not going to agree with everything we talk about and want to listen to everything we say. But that's okay because you're human, and we're all human, and we all have opinions and all that stuff. So,
but I think Joe Rogan. I'm on the spectrum, and it's probably our two different types of man. But I think like when I hear Joe Rogan say something, I think that he's so poignant and non-naive into what he's saying that it's probably more than likely closer to true than not. So
he's at least willingly. I feel like a lot of the stuff he's at least thought about before he says anything.
But it's funny you say that because I heard something the other day. It was, I think Mark Norman. He said, no, it was Bert Kreischer. He was talking to Shane Gillis, and he was like, Joe is like, no, it's Two Bears One Cave. It was Tom and Bert's podcast. We're talking about Joe, and they're like, what's great about Joe is that he's not wanting to spread misinformation. He genuinely is interested in something, and when he thinks he's got enough information, he puts it in his pocket, and he's trying to discover the new thing that he can share with someone. The beauty about Joe Rogan that other people don't see, they see the sleeves, they see his podcast setup, they see his alphaness come first, but what sits behind that is his interest to learn and make other people knowledgeable about things he deems important.
Yeah.
And that is awesome because that is like, in its own right, without the millions of subscribers, a typical, normal, day-to-day good guy. Like if you're like me, you're just talkative and you want to learn stuff and you want to talk to other people, then you share those things in a subconscious way. That's how it is. That's how I am. So I can identify with that. When he says something, I'm like, I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna read into that.
Yeah,
where other people, if Theo says it, I'm like, no, that's not true.
I'm not a big Theo fan. I'll be completely honest.
We haven't gotten into my top 3 yet.
I was gonna ask, and I'm sure. Yeah.
Stop.
Anyway, my third one. My third one is probably Willie Joy.
Oh, I haven't heard of him.
He's a DJ producer. I don't know if I think he's still active in like the scene and like making music and stuff like that. But he has a lot of people on where he kind of talks about their history coming up in the scene and like where they started with music and like just older, like the history of electronic music and where it is today. And so that's always fun to listen to. And
so it's very EDM based.
Yeah, absolutely.
Electronically based.
Electronic music, and that's where I get that from.
So we got Neil Brennan, Joe Rogan,
Willie Joy,
and Willie Joy
on the Willie. I think I'm
gonna check Willie Joy.
I'm pretty sure it's just called the Willie Joy podcast. But yeah,
hell yeah, dude. Okay,
your top 3, yeah.
All right, okay. So my top 3, Theo.
I'm just not a big Theo fan. He's just not for me.
Theo is he is the whole reason why I'm doing this. He is like.
I can see that though.
I started my podcast.
It's not my cup of tea.
In 2019, and I released my first episode in 2020, and it was because of Theo. It was like I loved his carelessness. I loved his solo podcast where he's like, he makes himself really vulnerable. Like if he's feeling down and it's shoot day, he is shooting anyway. And that's just the podcast you get. He's like, I don't know, man. Like I'm like a thick bitch sitting on the end of a bridge. You know, it just says some like off the wall shit, and you're like, that doesn't make any sense. A thick bitch sitting on the end of a bridge. Yeah, man. I'm gonna jump, and either I'm gonna sink or my Cajun ass gonna float. But hey, anyway, we're gonna take a caller, and like it's just like, and then he'll get real emotional with it. Like he's got this one clip where he's just talking to the camera, and he was like, you know, I just want everyone to know that whatever you're going through, it's going to be okay. That too. Whatever you're thinking about, it's going to be okay. And like, it gives me chills talking.
Did you share that the other day? I think you shared it the other day.
I just love that clip. And he's like, it's like he's talking to you. And he takes these, and maybe it's because I've met him and I've seen him live twice. And I just don't know. I love Theo. He's great. I just love him. He's fucking awesome. Anyway, number 2. You're definitely not going to like this one. But it's the Duck Call Room podcast. It's the Duck Dynasty guys podcast.
Didn't know they had a podcast.
There's 2 of them. There's Phil and the older son Al have a more biblical-based podcast that's very religious. It's okay sometimes. It's not really my cup of tea. But then there's the Duck Call Room, which has got Martin, Godwin, Cy, Johnny D, and then sometimes Phil McMillan. And I just feel at home. I feel like I'm in my grandmother's kitchen when I'm hearing them talk, and I was already a big fan of them and their show and all their personal endeavors. And I guess you could say like their personal views on certain things, like you are with Joe, I don't agree with, but it doesn't stop me from eating their content.
Yeah. You don't have to agree with everything that one person says, if especially friends, family, podcasters, whatever. You can still like somebody and not agree with everything that they say.
Not every musician you love creates a song that you are that's to die for, man. I gotta have the. Sometimes there's like 10s, and sometimes there's like a decent 6. Like, but you still love the artist, right? It's not gonna make you not buy the fucking concert ticket, But anyway, and number 3 is actually 3 and 4 because I literally can't decide. I think about this on a regular basis because I'm petty. It would have to be a fight between 2 Bears, 1 Cave, which is Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura. Yeah. Or Impulsive, which is Logan Paul's podcast with Mike Malak and George Janko. And like their chemistry together, it's like you know them all from their own vlogs and their own personal like Vine endeavors, but when they're all in the same room, it's like beer 30. It's like I don't know, maybe it's a portion of being 34 and listening. Mike's my age and George is 30, but Logan's real young, and maybe it's like a few people that are just younger than me. That's what's popping off in the world, and the guests they have are always people that I like or that I'm interested in, and it's cool. It's like a naked setting. It's more like there's no drive, there's no like set list of what we got. We're just like, hey man, we're just 3 dudes sitting around. Like it's Tuesday, it's the day we shoot our podcast. What the fuck did you do yesterday? What'd you do yesterday? And it's like, it's chill, it's cool. Where the Duck Call Room is more like, they're discussing like the outdoors and the
structured.
Yeah, it's a little bit more structured. They have like a little bit more of like a spiritual ending to each podcast, and then you have Theo, and he's just, I feel like more my podcast spirit animal. But I will tell you, and it's only been a year since I've started this because I have to listen to someone's podcast for a long time for them to be like my favorite, same way with music and albums and things like that. Mike Stud is making his way with You Never Know, because every time I fucking listen to that podcast, I literally talk about going to get something for free. Like, I listen to his podcast and I'll walk away with bounds and mounds of knowledge that I was looking for when I hit on that podcast.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Love that.
Just the stuff that you share, just the little clips and stuff like that are full of information. I didn't even realize he had like his own podcast. I thought he was just jumping on other people's podcasts.
It's called You Never Know.
We'll definitely start watching or listening to that one.
To get all of it, he does like his favorite podcast on Spotify, but all of his podcasts, you have to be subscribed to his Only Steve's, which is the like $4.99 a month.
Cool.
But he does a podcast twice a week, and like he's straight up naked on that motherfucker. Like he does like not like naked like nudity, but like if he has a song idea, he won't work on it. He'll send it out there for people to listen to and be like, what do you guys think I should do with this?
That's cool.
No.
That's really cool.
Hell no. I'm not doing that.
I mean, I would never do that, but
like,
no, that's cool.
It's like he does things that he literally sees the mold and he's like, it doesn't work for me. I want something different. And it's just cool. So like I took 3 and made them 5. All right. Here we go. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be? And I mean forever. Never leave it. Like you're there for forever. You can have a primary and a secondary.
That goes against everything I'm trying to do because I don't want to live in one spot. I want to move around.
Where does 63 successful Jeremy want to live?
Like retired and
yeah, like you're done doing the whole thing. Like you do the occasional whatever, and like it's all good. And like, oh yeah, I'll help you with this. And like you're almost like David Guetta status, even though he still tours all the time. But you see him getting to the point to where he's doing like, I'll play 3 shows a year, and I pay my bills off that. You could live anywhere you want. There's a primary and a secondary.
So my original idea when I was coming out of high school, not high school, because when I was coming out of high school, I wanted to move back to Chicago with my family. I would never want to live there now. Just the state of everything there. I don't think Chicago would be a good place to just
you're trying to de-punk rock yourself, not get more further into punk.
Exactly.
You're like, I want to calm it down. I don't want to like bring
that's
it
the other
back
thing is like for a very long time my other dream was to move to Atlanta because I love Atlanta. I love that city so much.
Dude, I don't know how you do it.
And I think that there's so much to do there, and it's
great hip hop community.
Hip hop, just music. It's a great. There's all kind of music and art and culture, and I just love Atlanta so much. One place that I've never been that I want to go, and I feel like would be a good place to move to, is somewhere in Colorado, like Breckenridge or Boulder.
Too expensive. Way too expensive.
Well, if money's not an issue. There.
Yeah, but you want the money to stay. Well, yeah. I guess I did preface. Okay, you're right.
I've never been there. Chelsea's been there, and she talks about how beautiful it is and stuff. And I just think it would.
You've never been to Colorado?
I've never been to Colorado, and I think it would be a lot of fun, and I think it would be great. And I think once I go there, I'll fall in love with it.
Can we go together?
We can. Let's start planning trips. Colorado cast.
Can we
coming soon?
Ooh,
yeah.
Can we go for like a specific reason? Like there's like a big, like Adventure Club decides to put on a 2-day festival, or Skrillex is doing the Coliseum out in fucking what is that motherfucker? Lemons Arena?
Is this in Colorado?
Yeah, it's like their big. It's like their Bridgestone Arena, like how Nashville has it, or like their big BJCC or Pensacola Bay Arena. It's their thing.
Yeah, I don't.
Fuck. Like, you know, a DJ goes out there to do something cool.
Yeah, I don't remember though.
Can we go? Like, be like, oh nope, Skrillex is doing a show, or like, I know, like honestly. Not the biggest Borgore fan, but I am a fan, and you're a huge fan. He's doing a bit. Then let's go. I'm going. Like, let's go. Grizz would be a good middle ground.
Grizz would be good.
That's
especially in Colorado.
I feel like Manic Focus, Grizz, and the Floozies is where our bridge meets. It's like, or something like Enzo, because Enzo's one of my favorite producers in the world, ever. Like, he is if I could model my DJ sound after anyone,
Enzo's dope. I've heard some Enzo. I'm not deep into it, but I've heard some.
That to me, that's electronic music.
Oh yeah.
That's fucking electronic.
I guess I need to learn more and invest.
Every song slaps the teeth out of my head.
Invest some more time into Enzo.
Awesome.
I've definitely heard Enzo before, but not enough to be like, oh yeah, well, blah 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 blah. Whatever.
Okay, start with Overthinker.
Got it.
Overthinker. Okay. Last but not least.
Where do you want to be? Hold up, real quick. Where do you want to be?
Oh, okay. First off, anywhere my kids are within 100 miles. So wherever they are, that's where I want to be. Second to that, my dream place, like in my mind from what I've seen, I've never been. I would probably say North New York, somewhere on the countryside, because you got a beach, you got a bay, you got the city, you got rolling hills, you got fresh water, you got brackish water, salt water, you got Iceland and Greenland right up over the way. You can just you got Canada right here. It's like a piece, like you got like this bay lifestyle, like right down the way. You got a segue to the biggest city on the planet.
I was gonna say, now that you explain it like that, that makes more sense. But I never would have taken you for a New York guy.
Yeah, North New York. North New York is just beautiful. You know, you got rednecks up there. You got fucking cooler, more alternative, culturistic, little driven yuppies that aren't the yuppies you got down here that are closed-minded as shit. So, I don't know. Yeah, I'd say like North New York, wherever my kids are, or Nashville.
Nashville's nice. I like Nashville.
I think Nashville's probably where I'll end up as an old man.
Nashville's really cool. I like Nashville a lot.
Are you gonna do what Theo does with the King and the Sting? You gonna fly up to Nashville to shoot your monthly episode?
Probably not. Why would I shoot an episode once a month in Nashville? I don't.
Because if I live there.
Oh, if you live there? Yes. Then I would absolutely do it.
Hey, man, we still on for next weekend? Yep, got my ticket.
Okay, my bad. I didn't know you were living in Nashville when we were talking about me moving and me flying up to Nashville. I was like, why would I fly up to Nashville?
Well, because I just said, I was like, that's probably where I'll end up. And I was like, so you're going to fly up there and shoot our episode?
You lost
probably
me,
not.
You lost me with
Fuck you,
with Theo.
Tyler.
And I was like, why would I do anything like Theo ever?
Well, he has a lot more money to do that weekly.
Yeah.
I think monthly would be
good.
But
if you live in Nashville and we need to record an episode once a month or something like that.
I guess I'm flying down too.
No, I'll go up to Nashville if that's what we're doing.
All right, last question, and then we'll wrap this podcast up.
Okay.
And I want complete honesty. I already know what it is. I don't know why I'm looking. Honesty, bro.
None of this podcast has been honesty until now.
That's not what I meant. But, okay, so... what was your genuine first thought of me when you first met me? Like when you, like, not over social media, but I mean, like when you met me and your like first opinion, what was like going through the frontal lobe of your mind in that moment? Or maybe I'm pretty sure until you started to like me, because it wasn't like I like him from the get-go.
Well, that's the thing, is like you always talk about like the first time we ever communicated and how I was an asshole to you, and I don't remember that at all.
It's okay.
But my first time I remember ever like interacting with you, I was like, this dude is chill as fuck and super cool, and
really?
like like you just seemed like a cool dude. Like we could like legitimately just bounce ideas off of each other and just hang out. Like, I mean, I don't remember ever specific. I don't remember being like, God, this fucking guy's in my inbox again, like trying to get information out of me. Like, I don't remember that. You swear up and down that it happened. I don't remember it. But
it was more the lane I thought was more like, yeah, dude, sounds good. Jesus Christ.
And maybe I did say something along those lines, and you just interpreted it as like, fuck this fucking guy. Like, why?
It was the redelivery of
annoyance. I guess. And I probably was just like driving from like one city back home at like 2 a.m. or something, and just just write back, yeah, dude, sure. And you took it as, yeah, sure, dude, whatever.
I don't know. Maybe
And maybe
I borrowed
and
trouble.
that's why I don't know. I don't remember that specifically, but I do remember when we first started like running into each other at shows. I was like, this dude's super cool and chill,
Yeah,
and like you can just kick it. And then I think one time I just after a show I like randomly ended up at your house. And there was like a bunch of other people there.
Oh,
and we were like doing music, and you were like, dude, do you want to play something? And I ended up playing like 15 minutes of music in your like living room, and there was like people packed around and stuff like that. And I was like, this is fucking fun, dude.
Yeah.
Like, this is cool. And I'm pretty sure that was one of our first like real like times that we hung out together.
Cool.
Was
man.
something like that.
Orange Beach House.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Damn.
All right. My turn. Genuine honesty. Besides no, you know what? It probably is, because I think I know you're this fucking asshole. That was his first thoughts and opinions of me.
My first thought was, man, what dick. But face-to-face thought, hanging out, was calm. Like, calm, well put together guy. Like, don't show your ass in front of this dude, because he'll probably think you're an asshole, because you don't operate the same way I operate sometimes. Clearly.
Yeah, no, clearly.
And so, yeah, just calm. I think that was like my first, like, it went from like snubby, kind of like, not a dickhead, but like short with me, like, yeah, whatever. You're just like short-ended answer, kind of snubby dude.
That may have even been my anxiety. Just like, I don't know what to say to this guy, so I'm just going to give him a few words and just see what he does from here.
Yeah, maybe.
And
yeah.
I mean, and that's the thing, is like, I don't remember that conversation, and I don't remember that interaction. And I hope I never want to come off as sounding like an asshole.
We can find it. It's on your
being
Instagram.
An asshole.
We can find that fucker.
Instagram? I'll go back and look for it.
I mean, you'd have to go to the conversation to my old Instagram.
Oh, shit. I'll see if we can find it.
And then just start.
That was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago. It can be found. I'm just saying. No, first impression, calm. Calm dude. I wish I was that calm. I wish I was that.
Cool.
Well,
I'm glad that I'm able to come off as...
Most people think that about
or that I have my shit together or under control and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're calm. Very calm based. Yeah, dude. But that was my questionnaires. I do these when I'm on the tractor or the forklift, and I'm just like, oh.
There he goes again. Forklift certified. Just gotta talk about it every time. Gotta talk about it every single time. Just gotta. Oh my God. Yeah, I just like to, when I'm on the forklift, I just, like to just the forklift when I'm doing forklift stuff. Did you know I have my forklift certification? Fucking, I swear to God.
Sometimes good musical ideas and good podcast ideas come up to me
from working on the forklift.
From working in the warehouse.
Working on the forklift. That's where I get all my inspiration from for my forklift certification.
Look, okay, to
Fuck
be
you.
fair. Fuck you. To be fair, I did, okay, like our musical idea with these tracks that we're trying to do now, in my mind, all started on the forklift. I want to say when I first started at the nursery, you hit me up and I'm about us creating stuff together when I first moved back to Alabama. And you were like, let's for real, like, stop fucking with me and come to my house and bring your podcast equipment and let's fucking shoot. Like, for real.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Okay, for real. Let's fucking do it.
Yeah.
So I think ever since then, it seems like the forklift and the tractor at work is always like, oh shit, I gotta write this down. Boom. Okay. And then a few hours go by, I'm like, oh shit.
What was this? What was this that you're doing?
Let's put it in neutral.
Putting the forklift in neutral? See how he just throws it in there?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's put it in neutral. Or that was actually the tractor. The neutral on the forklift is up here.
See how he knows that? He's got to throw that in there. Actually, it's over here.
Tractor is over here. Forklift is over here.
Man, I just...
Although the forklift...
You and that forklift certification, you just gotta show it off. You gotta just rub it in people's face.
Well...
Actually, this is the forklift over here. Because I know, because I'm forklift
All right,
certified.
this is forklift right here. Okay, because I have toggles, and then you gotta toggle them, and then the tractor's like a normal truck or a car.
Just got more forklift
It's
information.
space equipment.
It's more forklift certification that you wouldn't know about because you're not forklift certified.
You know what? All right, you want to wrap this up now?
Yeah, I think it's time.
Okay. Thank you guys for coming to the podcast. Like, subscribe, share, and show your friends. We'll see you in a week or two.
Peace.
More madness.